Hello, all you beautiful women. I'm Coach Sarah Joy, and today we are going to be talking about one thyroid warrior's journey on reversing her thyroid nodules. There you are. Hello, hello. Thank you for your requests. I'm bringing you on.
Here she comes.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. I
Can
love
you hear me
you.
okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. How are
Perfect.
you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me
Yeah,
on.
of course, you look gorgeous.
Thanks. Likewise.
Yeah. How's everything on your side of the world?
Not too bad. It's another
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're in Canada, correct?
I am. I'm in
Yeah,
Ontario. A
Ontario.
little colder than where you are, I think.
It's like 28 today.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's 18 for us today, and that's pretty unusual for this time of year.
got it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, cold is just cold. So, yeah. Well, all right. I'm excited. Thank you guys for being here. So much to talk about. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
So, um, why don't we just like start with the very beginning where you just introduce yourself, you know, tell us a little bit about you, and then wherever you feel like your journey started with your thyroid situation or your nodule situation, whatever you're comfortable sharing with us, we appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. So, well, my name is Sarah. I would say my journey started, or this story starts back in 2014. I just got married the year before, and I just had my first son. I don't know if it was the fluctuation of like my hormones or whatever, but my mom actually was the one who noticed my throat started getting swollen, and she's like, "That's maybe something you should get checked out." So I went to the doctor. My family doctor sent me for blood tests, an ultrasound, and the blood tests came back normal. My T4 levels, T3 levels were completely normal levels. But when we went to do the ultrasound, I had nodules on both sides of my thyroid. They were about, they weren't too big. I think when it started, they were about 2 or 3 centimeters. But she referred me to an endocrinologist anyways, just to kind of look into it. So
Hmm.
she
Did
referred
you
me
say
to the,
that? Did you say
yeah.
the onset was during your pregnancy or after your pregnancy?
I feel like it might have been during my pregnancy, but I don't think it was really noticeable until maybe after I had the baby
Hmm.
and maybe
So,
the hormones.
so
Yeah,
you didn't have a prior like hypodiagnosis or anything? Just
never.
kind of, okay.
Yeah,
So
never.
were you officially diagnosed with like hypothyroidism at that time too?
Never.
No, they just
Still
started
to this
looking.
day. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So no official
yeah.
diagnosis. They just started looking
No.
into your gland. Okay.
Exactly. And my mom actually has hypothyroidism, so we thought it was like a genetic thing. I believe she had thyroid nodules when she was growing up. I don't know if they were removed or not, but so, it was something to check into. So I did a biopsy. Those are never fun. That also came back clear. And my endocrinologist just basically said, like, what do you want to do? Right now, they're small enough to kind of manage. So it was from 2014 to 2016 where we kind of just kept an eye on them. Every 6 months. I kept going back for blood tests to make sure my levels weren't changing, and going for more ultrasounds, more biopsies. Um, and it wasn't until 2016 where they got pretty big. One of them, I believe it was on this side, was shrinking, like it was changing size. It was the one on the right, that got really big. I believe the biggest it got was 5 centimeters. And that was obviously cause for concern. And, I felt like the tightness in my throat.
Hmm.
And that's when she said, like, they did the biopsy. The biopsy came back cleared, but they said, This is something you may want to get removed because it's not going away. And at that time, I didn't really change my diet. I didn't really do anything. I felt like I was just navigating motherhood and just trying to just be a mom, you know, not taking care of myself, taking care of my son.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2016, she referred me to the surgeon. I went to the surgeon, and when I went to the surgeon, he's like, okay, he basically told me that we should remove the whole thyroid. And I went in there thinking, okay, they're going to remove the nodules. You know, it'll be fine. And, you know, it was only the one side that was really large. So they were going to do that. He said, nope, let's remove the whole thyroid because uh, it could lead, if we remove half, they can grow on the other side. If, you know, it can basically lead to so many things like hypothyroidism if you grow more nodules. So he said, the best thing to do is just remove it all. And I said, okay, like, what are the implications with that? Like, what is going to happen if I remove it all? He said, we'll just put you on a synthetic thyroid medicine. And I said, okay, is this something that I'm going to have to be on for the rest of my life? He's like, yeah, basically, because you're not going to have a thyroid. So that didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point, when he was ready to book me the next surgery appointment, which I believe was like 3 months from that date, I was like a little hesitant. I said, you know what? I gotta wait. I gotta see. Like this didn't sit well with me. So I went home. I kind of left it at that. I saw my endocrinologist and I said, I kind of want to wait. Let's just continue to monitor it. So at that time, my husband was doing a lot of cycling. And so, I mean, I started cycling with him. That turned into a very great hobby for me. And I cycled every day. And I started noticing that my nodules started shrinking. So, I mean, I spoke to my endocrinologist, I spoke to my family doctor. I said, is this a coincidence? And I mean, I feel like I lost all my trust or all my faith in everyone, the doctors, the surgeon, you know, they're like, oh, well, you know, it could be a coincidence, but we still think you should do the surgery. And, you know, it could grow bigger. They can always fluctuate. So from that point, I kind of just took it into my own hands and kind of changed my lifestyle a little bit. I made exercising a priority. And, you know, I changed my diet. I eliminated some things out of my diet. I tried to eat healthier. But yeah,
Let's
so
go into all of that in a second because I really want to dive into this. This is the juicy
okay.
part, okay?
Yeah.
So let me go back and ask you some questions.
Sure.
Um, so you were never diagnosed with any sort of a thyroid condition. So the
No.
onset of the nodules, both nodules in your thyroid gland started growing tremendously after you had your baby. Was there any other symptoms present too, like hair loss, fatigue, like food intolerances, like
Not really. Not that I really thought about it. I guess because I was going through, like I said, I was trying to navigate being a new mom. I don't think I really noticed that. And then I got pregnant again in 2017 with my second. And I mean, I don't know, nothing really changed from then. Like the nodules kept fluctuating, I guess, getting bigger. I noticed again when I was pregnant. So I figured, you know, maybe it's the hormones changing and all that kind of stuff. But I still tried to cycle a lot through that pregnancy, which I feel like helped keep them smaller.
that's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me more about your experience with the surgeon because I really want to touch on this part because
Yeah.
I've had other thyroid warriors that have gone through full removals. I've had clients that have gone through full removals and they were very much pressured and they felt very much pressured, like similar to what you're saying. And instead of there being any sort of let's just do half or any sort of a compromise. It's just, no,
No,
this is what we need to
absolutely.
do.
And it wasn't even the surgeon. I feel like it was also my endocrinologist. Like they never gave me any like holistic information or anything beneficial. They're just like, let's just remove it. It may grow bigger. We don't know. Let's just remove it.
Did they ever
So,
drop the C word on you?
yeah, many
Cancer?
times.
Like,
That's
this
why
may
they,
be cancer.
yeah, they said it may turn into cancer if I don't keep checking it again, if I don't remove it. That's why I've done so many biopsies. I don't know if you've gotten a biopsy, but they're not fun. So,
Fortunately, I haven't experienced that. I've had a lot of other painful procedures, but yeah, no, I've
mhm,
only had people describe it to me, and yeah, it's terrible. And I'm sorry you
mhm.
had to do that
That's
over
okay.
and over
Mhm.
and over. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, I think that I feel like there is definitely a war being waged on women's thyroid
Mhm.
glands,
I
and
believe so
that
too.
there is just this pressure by the systems on women to remove your thyroid gland. And
Mhm.
it's so frustrating, obviously, like they explain to you, because it's like, well, then what happens to your health? And they make it seem so, you'll be fine, we'll just put you on some
Mhm.
meds for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So tell me about your gut feeling. Like, I feel like your intuition just really like
That's what I
protected
always
you.
say. I feel like it was like, I don't know if it was like a women's intuition, whatever it was. I just like, once I saw that surgeon, I felt like even going to my endocrinologist, I mean, not that I didn't like her, but she was never like I said, she never gave me holistic advice. She never gave me other options. She just said, you should go to a surgeon. They're growing. Let's remove them.
Yeah.
So I never felt confident going to her. And then it was just like when I went to see my surgeon, which apparently was one of the top in Toronto in our area, um, that intuition kind of set in where it was
Yeah.
like, something doesn't feel right. It didn't sit well with me that, he wanted to remove the whole thing and he thought that it was okay to just take a pill for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I guess that's where it kind of set
Yeah.
in and
All your
threw me
spidey
back.
senses just went,
Right.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I commend you on recognizing and
Hmm.
then obeying and listening to that intuition, because it very much protects us, and
Hmm.
women are so powerful
Yeah.
spiritually, and we
Yeah.
have to trust that, especially in
Hmm.
these moments
Yeah.
of doubt and unsurety. So thank you for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Um, I truly believe that we as women, we need to protect our thyroid glands.
Hmm.
There is an agenda, a motive for, I personally feel like it's maybe greed or money, motivated for these people to just constantly pressure women to remove their thyroid glands, and then they just
I agree.
are leaving women in total states of health crisis. And
Hmm.
I've talked to many women that have had the surgery, they're on the meds, and they are worse than ever.
Oh,
And they
that's
go
what I
back
was
for help.
not looking for either. Like what would happen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And if you look at you should go listen to my last episode. This is exactly what happened to her. She trusted the doctors, had everything removed, and now she's an insomniac, and the weight is unregulated, and it's really heartbreaking. So let's move forward. So you were like side eyeing the doctors, like, okay, I don't think so. I'm not cool with your plan. What can I do? So did you start researching anything, or were you just sort of, again, following your intuition on, like, this feels good, let's try this? Or,
I mean, I did. Of course, I feel like I did. I started Googling everything at that point. And then, I mean, once um, I saw them shrinking after I started cycling. For me, I was like, okay, this has to do with exercise. I mean, not the whole part, but like a big part of it, for sure, is exercise. So again, I made that a priority in my life. Um, and then I mean, I Googled everything, supplements, like different foods that I should eliminate from my diet, like
Yeah, what did
cruciferous
you
foods.
eliminate?
I feel like um, I kind of cut back on cruciferous vegetables. I've been taking a lot of like iodine and selenium now.
There you
I
go.
cut back even on eggs, just because I did a few detoxes from the medical medium. I
Mm,
found his books, and I did two detoxes with him, and I know he says the big endocrine disruptor, whatever, is eggs. So I
hmm.
did feel like I'd noticed that. I mean, I try to stay on top of it. There are some times where I do have an egg here or there, but I'm not eating them every day like I used to. Um,
Okay, let's talk
yeah,
about that really fast because
yeah.
they might be kind of like eggs. What are you talking about? Um, so I actually have a video on YouTube if you guys want to check it out. It's
Mhm,
called All About Eggs. And similar to what you're saying, I was eating eggs every single day.
mhm,
And when I was sick, and I was really sick for a very long time. And one of the things I did is in my journey, I started understanding how um, viruses feed on eggs. And then Anthony
mhm,
Williams started talking more about that. And I was like, okay, let's
yeah,
just try it.
mhm.
And so even before this, I pulled all my EBV antibodies, which is what I wanted to ask you. Do you know if you've ever had the Epstein-Barr virus or herpes or mono, or you just,
No, I've
yeah,
never done any of those tests.
yeah, most people haven't. Um, and that's okay. But that's the underlying concept here is you have
Mhm,
a virus that's feeding on the eggs. And so when you
mhm,
remove the food that's feeding it, then it can't proliferate and grow and attack your
yeah.
thyroid gland anymore. So I love that you said that. And I love that you said iodine. So tell me about your
Mhm.
iodine protocol that you started.
I mean, I should probably stay on it more often now. Like I should be taking it now, but I just try to take iodine. At first, I was taking kelp pills or just like a kelp supplement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you can help me with what the best iodine to take.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
selenium, I've been trying to take selenium through like Brazil nuts,
Yeah,
um,
good. That's
stuff like
awesome.
that. Keeping my vitamin D high, vitamin C, just trying to get all my basic vitamins in a day as
Okay.
best as
I
I
love
could. Yeah,
this. Yeah,
yeah.
because you guys know I'm all about minerals.
Hmm.
And so this is where like I'm hearing the magic. I'm actually literally hearing the reasons why you are shrinking your nodules. This is fabulous. So you so you remove the eggs, so you're starving out the virus. The
Hmm.
cruciferous vegetables, personally, I'm a little torn on that because I feel
Hmm.
like, the whole foods they're really high in the nutrients and we shouldn't cut them out.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but if you it just also depends on where people's digestion's at. Like if
Hmm.
some people have a hard time, they have low stomach acid, so they can't really digest like broccoli and carrots, and you need to
Hmm.
steam them. But I don't necessarily believe in removing any whole foods.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, and like I mean, it's hard to find the right information out there
yeah,
too. Like I feel like for me, just Googling, there's so much
yeah,
information. I don't know from like I mean, I
yeah, no, and I
like
get it.
from
It's
you,
a
it's better to get good information from like a professional who actually
yeah,
knows what they're talking about. But I mean, I tried to Google
yeah,
as much as I could and just try to get information, but I never know
yeah,
what is the
yeah.
right information out there, right?
Yeah, and you did great. And honestly, the information you're telling me, you killed it. You crushed it,
Mm-hmm.
with where to start on your own to like DIY things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the best, so the iodine, I want to focus on the iodine when you brought that up because if you guys just do literally like a basic Google search of like what the thyroid needs in order to function, it's iodine. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to have iodine. Like it's a part of the whole process of like the proteins or the hormones transferring everything. But iodine, you guys, and I think this is one of your magic bullets that you don't even realize you did. Iodine is an antiseptic. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral. This might be TMI, but I can share from my experience. Did you have a natural childbirth?
C-section.
Oh,
For
okay.
both sons. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So just in a general thing, like, what is the thing that they use at the hospital to sterilize everything?
Yeah, iodine.
Iodine, right?
Yeah.
Because it's an
Mm-hmm.
antiviral, antibacterial.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start bringing iodine into our diet, but here's the thing, um, just buying an iodine supplement and taking it straight is not something I suggest, because it can you can take too much, or you can detox too fast, and you can have reactions. So I like a more gentle iodine. So if you're going to continue iodine in your diet, which I think you should, everyone
Mm-hmm.
watching should, I love that you said the kelp pills. So I love
Mm-hmm.
food-based iodine.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to food-based product, I mean ocean-based products, we want to be really picky of where we get it sourced from. Otherwise, you don't want to be getting stuff that's like from the middle of LA, that's all polluted,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Or like when I lived
Yeah.
in San Diego, every month we had like a sewer line break and go into our ocean. So you want to get
Mm-hmm.
it from clean sources.
Okay.
So my favorite brand, the company is Ocean's Balance. They're off the coast of Maine, which is really, really nice.
Interesting.
And they
Yeah.
have what's called, they have all, like their entire line, like all of their products are high dosages of iodine. You can get the flakes and you can put them in anything, you guys. You can saute them in your stir fries. You can put them in
Mm-hmm.
your yogurt. You can put it in your smoothies. It's like very low flavor. It's not fishy.
Are
And it's
they
that
kind of like the Atlantic Dulce flakes?
they do have the Atlantic Dulce flakes. Those are
Because
about
those are the
600
ones I've used. Are
the
they?
Yeah, they have the Dose Flakes that are great, or
Mm-hmm.
they have some other lines that are even higher. I think the Dose Flakes are like 670 milligrams, and they had a different one. I forgot off the top of my head. It was like 1500 milligrams of iodine.
Okay.
So when you're getting it as a food source, it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to put you into a possible overdose or like a detox.
Okay.
Um, so that's awesome. And the selenium as well. I love that you pointed out selenium, because we have to have selenium in order to move our thyroid hormones.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think what you did, and you don't even realize it, is you started addressing your root causes. You
Yeah.
started dealing with the deficiencies that were underneath the nodules that were going into the infection and going into the part of the reasons why the hormones in the thyroid wasn't functioning.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations
Thank you.
on that. Yeah.
I still feel like it's a journey, and I mean, I
Hmm.
don't think I've completely shrunk them. I mean, they're still there, but I'm still trying to keep with the same protocol, trying to keep up my healthy lifestyle, or this life change that I've now done. So,
Yeah. Are you gluten
yeah,
free?
no. I
Okay.
try to be, but I know that's also a big part.
Well, I mean, it depends on the sourcing in Canada. I mean, our
Hmm.
gluten is toxic here. It's all genetically
I feel like
modified
it's
and
the same here.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
I feel like
yeah.
it's the same.
But I mean that could be another little piece to your puzzle that you could consider for sure.
Okay,
Okay, so
thanks.
you
Yeah.
started exercising, but
Yeah.
the thing with the exercising is because you weren't struggling with the fatigue and you weren't like forcing yourself to exercise, I felt like that was a really good move for you.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now you cycle every day with your husband or just by yourself?
I mean, I try to. It's definitely hard in the winter. At that
Yes.
point where I shrunk them that much from that picture, I was cycling every day. I did make that a priority that I'm going to go and do that. I mean, life gets in the way for sure. So it's harder in the winter, but we did buy like a trainer that we put our bikes on in
Mm-hmm.
our house. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely helped. Trying to do as much cardio, I feel like, especially in the winter. So, I mean, life gets in the way, like I said. So
Yeah,
it's kind of it's kind of hard to keep on it, but I try to do my
yeah,
best.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all you can do,
Yeah.
don't ever beat yourself up. Like you
Yeah.
just got to do your best.
Yeah.
So okay, so these are the things that helped you. So I'm going to recap. These are the things that helped Sarah stay away from the doctors, the freaking
Mhm.
vampires, the thyroid vampires.
Mhm.
She started bringing in cardio. She cut out eggs,
Mhm.
cut out a constant stream of eggs. So I want to actually ask you about your mayonnaise because mayonnaise is high eggs. Did you ever
I don't eat
put it?
mayonnaise.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really
Um,
enjoy it.
Sorry. Every time I smile, my earbuds want to fall out. It's frustrating. so, you cut out eggs. You started bringing in. You did a couple detoxes. So tell us about the detoxes you did.
Oh my gosh, they were hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did one, I believe I did it, oh my gosh, when was it? The last one I did was in May. There's probably some of my friends on this live who actually joined me in on that one. Um, but I did that, the first one, I believe it was like a year prior to the one that I did in May. It was hard. I mean, it was cutting out everything that I'm used to, like low fat, it was all raw diet, I'm a big coffee drinker, which I believe could also be a bad thing. So for me to do that detox, I had to completely cut out coffee for 9 days. But I
Oh,
felt
I was gonna
amazing.
say, was it the
Yeah,
369?
yes, yes.
Okay, yeah.
At the end of it, I felt amazing. It
Mm-hmm.
was definitely a struggle for sure. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something that I took from those detoxes is I still do the heavy metal detox smoothies in the morning. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of usually I go for those eggs for breakfast, now I'm having that smoothie for breakfast instead.
Yeah, I love the heavy
Yeah.
metal detox smoothies. So, those of you listening live or on the replay, the heavy metal detox smoothie, I actually started doing that too when I got my hair tissue mineral analysis back and I saw that I was like insanely high in aluminum. I started rebalancing my minerals, which naturally also pulls out your metals. But um, the heavy metal detox smoothie, it really is magical. And
Hmm.
um, and it's a very gentle way to bring in a lot of nutrients
Hmm.
into your body at the beginning of the day, as well as gently pull out some of the metals. And trust me, if you guys are like, oh, I don't know if I have metals, you do. We all do. It's
Hmm.
crazy. I constantly look at this. My clients all come back high in mercury. I was high in mercury, high in aluminum.
Wow.
I'm seeing high arsenic. I'm seeing if you live in an area that's surrounded by granite rocks or
Hmm.
a heavily granite rich area, I'm seeing extremely high uranium levels.
Wow.
And so what happened, like the heavy metals in and of themselves cause so many problems, and they actually feed the virus, which
Hmm.
can also make the nodules grow. Um, and so switching, that's exactly what I did is like I was having two eggs with a piece of toast, and like a piece of fruit, and I just cut the eggs out and I shifted to the heavy metal detox smoothie when I
Hmm.
started doing my mineral and metal protocol, and I was able to get my aluminum down in half.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so it works. It's a
Hmm.
very, very powerful thing. You guys can literally just Google it and get the directions. If you're sensitive to cilantro, because it's very heavily cilantro flavored, for those of you
Hmm.
that like aren't used to cilantro, cilantro in and of itself is just a herb that naturally draws out metals, and
Hmm.
um, and so you could do like a half dose. I think it's like 1 cup of cilantro. Like just do a half dose, like a
Hmm.
half a cup to start with, so you're not all like this is nasty. Yeah. So wow, I'm understanding like the full picture now of how you were able to reverse your nodules. You're doing great. Yeah, the
Thanks.
369 cleanse, like,
Hmm.
you probably detoxed a ton of viral debris and
Hmm.
environmental toxins and heavy metals and everything out of your liver, um, which just probably naturally killed the, all the things going on that were causing the nodules. So,
Hmm.
yeah, this is fantastic. Fantastic news.
Thanks.
I think if you just keep this up, you're not going to have to ever deal with those coming back again.
Uh, Let's hope.
Yeah.
Let's hope for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw, well, everyone on the replay, they're obviously not going to be able to catch this, but if you're on live with me today, you can go into my stories and you can look at her before and after pictures. She graciously shared with me, her throat was very swollen. I mean, it looked like
Yeah,
you kind of looked like you had like a little baseball in there.
I know. And it wasn't comfortable. But when that was before I saw the surgeon, like 2016, that wasn't comfortable. And that's when I actually thought, okay, I'm gonna remove them. Like there's a problem here. So yeah,
Yeah.
it
Did it
wasn't
interrupt
great.
your swallowing?
Not really. I just felt like, I guess if I was, let's say, going up a flight of stairs or whatever, like I did feel like it was a little bit harder to breathe. Um, but it definitely, like I felt like something was there and it was uncomfortable and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think you're a huge inspiration to everyone out there that is in the same situation. I talk to women. I think nodules is one of the biggest, um, like symptom. One of the biggest, like scariest symptoms because of the pressure with the surgery that comes along with it.
Hmm.
And do you, since you've been in that situation, would you have any advice to like other thyroid warriors that are going to hear this and maybe in like the same exact boat, like dealing with their endo saying, you need a surgery, dealing with the surgeon saying, let's just remove it?
I don't know. I feel like stick to your gut intuition because that's what I did. I feel like I had that intuition. It didn't sit well with me what the doctors were saying. So I kind of felt like I needed to find a different way. I needed to find a solution, and I didn't want to go through like the healthcare system or whatever because I felt like they were failing me. So, I mean, I tried to do my own research. And I mean, I'm still learning more and more every day about this and finding new ways and even finding you. I mean, I've been following you for a while and you give great information and yeah, just
Yeah,
trust your intuition, I guess.
absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. We definitely we all need to come back to trusting ourselves and
Hmm.
there's a lot of decent doctors out there that do have good hearts and want to help.
I
Um,
believe that,
and
yeah.
we can gauge between that. We
Hmm.
can pick up their energy, their vibe, and whether they're for
Hmm.
us or they're not really for us.
Yeah.
And there's so it's hard because I know it's like I very much am frustrated with the system too because of what everything I went through. So I don't
Hmm.
always want to sound like I'm coming down on them, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, this is what the majority of us are up against, and
Hmm.
we do lose our trust.
Hmm.
And I work with women all the time that are like, I'm like, hey, we need to, I'd like to get these labs drawn to be able to go together with, your other test results I'm going to get back. And they're just like, I don't even want to see a doctor. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Like trauma, PTSD,
Hmm.
all around that situation. Like, I
Yeah.
understand, so we figure out other ways to work around it. But
Hmm.
I just wanted to see if there was anything else that you felt like you changed that you wanted to share, or if you feel like you hit on everything.
I think I've hit on everything. Um,
What about your mindset? Was there any like mindset, spiritual kind of like shift in your thinking that came into this at all?
Um, I mean, I will say, not that I didn't take care of myself, but I mean, I was young. I feel like even before I got married, before I had my first son, like not that I was unhealthy, but I just wasn't being as healthy as I could be, I guess, like I wasn't taking care of myself as much as I should have or whatever, like prioritizing myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like my mindset's changed going through it now, knowing that I need to take like give myself, make myself healthier, or give myself, like, I'm the priority. I need to, like, my kids obviously will come first, but I need to take care of myself as well, because if I don't, you know I'll fall back into this, or all these illnesses will pop up, or whatever it may be. So yeah, so I
Absolutely.
mean, yeah, I feel like now, I feel like I'm more like aware of the things that I'm putting into my body, to reading labels on the back of cartons, stuff like that. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm more
That's
aware
huge.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. All of
I'm
that.
trying to be
That's
healthier.
massive.
Yeah,
Yeah. The awareness of yourself is
yeah.
huge, especially
Mhm.
as a young mom, as a new mom with
Mhm.
toddlers, little ones. Like, it's hard in that it's it's really easy to lose ourselves to our kids when they're
Mhm.
little because they are
Yeah.
so needy,
Mhm.
and we're just there. We're always there for them 24/7.
Yeah.
And that, so I love that the self-care message
Mhm.
has really proliferated the past,
Mhm.
maybe what, 3 to 5 years. It's really just come
Yeah.
out very, very strong for
5 years.
women.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's like that's a real thing. If we are not
Mhm.
prioritizing ourselves first, and it's okay to say,
Mhm.
I'm going to put myself first.
Yep. It is.
And then my family next to me,
Mhm.
because I kind of see, I don't know, everyone has their different important places, but
Mhm.
I can resonate with that as a mom too. I was doing the
Mhm.
same thing. It was just completely ignoring myself.
Mhm.
And I mean, not completely, but like you said, like I knew I could have done better.
Be better.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and so setting up like a daily routine that
Mhm.
is, the daily routine, having like a morning routine for you, a evening routine for you, or a wind down, like a bedtime
Mhm.
routine, wherever it needs to come in. Because sometimes I know the babies get up really early, and so it's easier
Mhm.
to do it at night if you can put them to bed and then have some time for you.
Mhm.
Um, this is the kind of like the gateway,
Mhm.
to up level. This is the gateway to up leveling your health.
Mhm.
And yeah, because either you're going to be mindful of yourself, or you're going to be mindless of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I love that. Thank you for saying that. It's huge.
No problem.
Wow. Everything you said is just huge. Good job. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Mm.
You truly are a warrior. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I was just thank you everyone for being here, and thank you so much, Sarah, again. You truly are an
No problem.
inspiration. And
Thank you for letting me share my story. I mean, like when I was talking to you about doing this, I don't think I've ever really, I mean, besides my closest friends and family who know my situation and have seen me go through it, I haven't really shared and like my story to anybody. And I didn't even think that it couldn't help anybody. And like, I didn't think that people were going through this, because I kind of just felt like
mm-hmm.
nobody around me was going through it. So it's like, okay, this is happening to me and me only, or
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
No.
it's good to definitely share it and help whoever I can.
Yeah. Yeah. It is definitely not just happening to you. It is worldwide, and it is a problem. It, like,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, women's thyroid glands are under attack. It's
Wow.
scary, the pressure
Hmm.
that women are under to just cut their thyroid gland out. It's, yeah, like I could talk to you
Wow.
about this just all day. Yeah. And it literally, it's worldwide. I
Hmm.
talk to a lot of women in the UK, and specifically, I don't know what it is about the UK, but they really are hard on it.
Uh,
Um, So yeah, I do know for a fact that I will probably share your episode with my future clients or women that are struggling with this so that they
mhm,
can understand and hear your words and
mhm.
be inspired by you. So thank you again.
Great, no problem.
Yeah. And thank you everyone for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to DM either one of us. And I'll talk to you soon in the DMs. Have a great rest of
Thanks,
your day, Sarah.
everybody. Thanks, you too. Bye.
Alrighty, bye.